my name is Patricia. I am so glad that you decided to join me today. It has been definitely an interesting week for me so far, and I'm so glad that I have a few moments today to record this video for you guys. Today we're going to talk about anxiety. It's something that we haven't talked about quite yet on my channel, so I'm very excited to do that today. But first, guys, if you missed my last video, we talked about a very special book that I just finished, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and we talked about the second agreement, which is not to take things personally. And a lot of you guys enjoyed that video. I appreciate all the wonderful feedback from that video. So if you missed that one, I will definitely leave it up in the cards for you. So definitely check that video out. It definitely was a blessing to me even making it, and a lot of you guys were very receptive to the message, so I appreciate that. So today we are going to talk about anxiety. Yes, yes, yes. Almost like a taboo word, right up there with depression when it comes to the African American community anyway. But today we are going to talk about it. Oh, but first, I definitely do have my coffee in my Like a Boss mug today. It's what I had last week. Medium roast with some almond milk vanilla creamer. So good. So first, I want to be very clear as to what we are talking about in this video and what we're not talking about in this particular video. So I am going to be talking about today the feeling of anxiety and how I deal with that feeling. Now, anxiety disorder and generalized anxiety disorder is a very real thing that also deserves more light, more education, and better treatment. In my opinion, like I said, it's a very real thing, but that is not what we are talking about here. Not to say that some of the things that I have to share will not benefit that population, but I think I would do a disservice, right, to those struggling with those particular ailments. We're going to talk about the feeling of anxiety, feeling anxious, right? Feeling anxious. What to do when you feel anxious. Anxiety is one of the worst feelings. I would say it's right up there with fear. It's like fear, but not quite the same thing. It's an unsettling feeling. I almost feel like fear is something you maybe feel for a moment, but anxiety could just drag on and on until whatever the event or the thing that you're most anxious about stands right in front of you, and then that's when fear kicks in, right? But anxiety is sort of it's the appetizer, the appetizer to fear, and it sucks. The Bible says, "Be anxious for nothing," but you know what? It's really hard not to be anxious, and the truth is, it happens. It happens sometimes. I definitely have my struggles with anxiety from time to time, and can sometimes feel very, very, very overwhelmed. Sometimes it hits me all at once, and I start feeling really, really anxious, right? So there are things that I do that help alleviate that feeling and help me to refocus, because I think a lot of the times when we are feeling anxious, okay, and again, I'm not really talking about the disorder, but really just that feeling of anxiety that I think we all encounter. It's because our focus now is on the wrong thing, especially when we dwell and swim in that anxiety for way too long. It's a very normal feeling. However, swimming in it doesn't help, and I think we find ourselves in that place because we are focused on the wrong thing. So these are the things that I help alleviate that feeling and help me to get refocused. So the first thing that I use is music. Now, there is such thing as music therapy. Music is an awesome thing for many reasons. Music is healing. It gets us to dance. It gets us to put a smile on our face. And music definitely helps me when I am feeling anxious. Now, there is a certain type of music that helps me that I'm going to share with you guys. And so the two things that I tend to listen to when I'm feeling anxious, the first thing I tend to listen to is meditational music. Okay, so there's music out there, and if you follow me on Instagram, then you probably know this already, and I've gotten tons of questions even on Snapchat about what's that you're listening to, what is that you're listening to, because I think when people hear it, even for a few seconds on my social media, it automatically gives that feeling, right? And so you don't have to go out and buy anything. YouTube here is still free, right? And so there are plenty of things on YouTube. I'm going to link some of my favorites below. 528 hertz, anti-anxiety, inner conflict, resolving inner conflict, and those positive tones and sounds, and you can look them up if you want to, where that sort of comes from, surrounded by strings and sounds of water, which is very, very calming. The moment I play it, sometimes I play it before I go to sleep, just for the last 20 minutes as a part of like my ritual, even if I'm just arranging my room or brushing my teeth. It helps to calm me down, to, you know, calm all those racing thoughts in my head. What I prefer in the morning, which is the second type of music, or the genre of music that I like to listen to in the morning, is classical music. We were raised playing classical music and I have a love for it. The composer takes you on a little journey with him that helps you to escape a little bit what you're going through and what your fears and your cares are. Very calming in nature. I don't think all classical music is created equal. I am a Bach girl, a Mozart girl, and I love that kind of stuff. But specifically when I am feeling anxious, I listen to Debussy. He is probably my number one favorite classical. And honestly, he's really more of an impressionist, so not really, but classical in the sense of way, way, way long time ago. So he's definitely in a different era than the ones I mentioned before, but I absolutely love his music. I fell in love with his music in high school when I started to play them. And his music is very dreamy, it's very calming, it's very mellow, it's just beautiful. Some of my favorites are Clair de Lune, Reverie, Arabesque, the first one. I like the second one too. I just love his music in particular, so look it up. I'll leave some links below. Absolutely love it. His music in particular, classical music in general, but I love Debussy. The second thing I like to do is, and I'm gonna lump this in one, even though I feel like they're two separate things. We're gonna make a part A, part B. Part A is prayer. Prayer is amazing because it gives you the chance to communicate, right, with God, right? I know I have yet to do my video on meditation, and I will. So to me, prayer in a sense is speaking, right? It's venting, it's releasing all your cares and your burdens, right? What's worrying you? Because sometimes some of that anxiety that we feel is because we are just holding it in and we're not verbalizing it and speaking it. And why not speak to the one that can do anything about it? You know what I mean? And the part B is meditation, which I define it in the sense that I define meditation is listening, right? Prayer, speaking, meditation, listening. And like I said, we'll talk about that in another video. Let me know if you guys are interested, and I will take the time to do it. And that is opening up and listening, quieting other voices so that you can listen to that inner being, the one that matters, that inner voice, the one that matters. And so these two things, I think, coupled together really help to give you peace. I think prayer gives you the chance to vent, to open up, to share your cares and your burdens and your requests to God. And B part of that is the meditation, being able to open up and listen to the response. And in that moment, and we talked about this in the video that I did a few weeks ago called Stillness Speaks, right? Stillness Speaks, I think, is what I entitled the video. And I let you guys know that in that stillness, in those quiet moments, you gain clarity, and that clarity gives you peace, right? That's how you get refocused. That's what helps you sort of remove those anxious feelings. The fourth thing I do is write. There's something about releasing those thoughts and putting it down on paper that helps to almost physically remove them from in you and put it on the paper and take it away. Part of that anxiety is the fact that your thoughts are so disorganized and all over the place. You can't see, you can't function, you don't understand. And sometimes seeing it on paper helps also to give you a sense of clarity, or at least sort of sense of organization in your mind. Writing it down definitely helps me. It's not one that I use all the time, but if I'm really going through it, if this is something big and I really want to organize my thoughts and understand what I'm thinking and why I feel this way, I write it down. The fifth thing, which is not always possible, right? So it really is the lesser. Because like I said, a lot of the anxiety that we feel is the fact that we are not focused on the right thing. So the final thing is getting rid of the source of anxiety. And the reason why I said that this is not always possible, because sometimes the anxiety is a boss, right? At work, the source of anxiety. The source of anxiety is a family member. The source of anxiety are your children. The source of anxiety is your husband. The source of anxiety is school. You know, it's not always possible to, and sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you got to kick him to the curb if he's making you anxious, right? If he is bringing nothing but negativity and anxiety and hurt and pain, yes, and repeatedly, right? Without remorse, you sometimes, yeah, you do need to kick him to the curb, but sometimes, most of the time, and it's likely that that's not possible, right? It's likely that this feeling is temporary because of a bad situation or a bad event or a bad, you know what I mean? This anxiety while you're in school is definitely something that, you know, is normal in a sense that school is stressful. No matter what it is that you're studying, you want to make sure you do well. You've invested all this money, you've invested all this time. You know, this big test that matters, you have anxiety associated with this test, whether it's the MCAT or the SATs or if you're a nurse, the HESI, the NCLEX, you know, it's a necessary evil. It's part of the process. It's part of the process, and therefore you can't remove it. You love your kids, right? You love your kids, but sometimes they act out, and that gives you anxiety, right? So it's not always possible to remove it. Sometimes it's a friend that's just doing too much. It's a friend that is bringing you drama. It's a friend that is constantly talking about you, or it's a coworker, right? That's just getting on your last nerves. So sometimes it is possible. And when I say remove, I don't mean the dramatic sense, but I mean seriously disassociate. Pull yourself back from that friend, that coworker, or that maybe that you don't have to work so directly close to that person. You know what I mean? Or whatever the sense is. If it is a boyfriend, I don't know. Maybe we need to let that one go. I mean, listen, you ain't came in, you liked him already. This may be your way out. You know, like I said, this last one a lot of times is not possible, but sometimes it is. And sometimes it will require you to make some conscious decisions. And maybe it's not that you remove yourself completely, but you set boundaries, right? So if you know that a certain person makes you anxious, so your parents make you anxious, you love them so much, but you need to limit your interactions. You have to work directly with this coworker, right? But you put up boundaries. You know, maybe you don't have to go to the work party, you know what I mean? Or you don't have to go to the work team events, or maybe you don't have to go to the work Christmas party or whatever, in order to sort of set boundaries so that you don't have to expose yourself to this person all the time because you know they make you anxious. If it's school that's bringing you anxiety, maybe you need to set up boundaries even with school. This is when I study. This is when I don't study. This is when I do things for me. And if anxiety has to do with the kids, even set boundaries there. One time a week, I will go get a massage, and it's gonna be just me. Then after that, I'm gonna go take myself out to eat. Or with my husband, like, hey, me and hubby, we're gonna have, date night every Tuesday, Saturday night. Sometimes, like I said, it's not always possible just to completely remove yourself, but helping to set up those boundaries will help you feel less anxious in those critical moments. So those are the tips that I wanted to share with you guys. I say this to people all the time. You have to put in the work. You know, life is tough, and as I get older, I'm like, dang, this is this life? Yes, this is life. Challenges will come. Hardships will come, tears will come, sorrows will come, but guess what? So will joy, so will laughter, so will good things, so will success. All those things will come. It's just up and down. Things happen. And in the process, you feel all sorts of emotions, and anxiety is one of them. So these are the things that I do that help me deal with anxiety. I definitely want you guys to share the things that help you deal with your anxiety down below. I think it'll be definitely helpful. Not only to me, but to everyone that sees this video. I hope something I said helped you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you guys are well and in good spirits whenever it is that this video meets you. And I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you guys Sunday with another video. And as always, God bless.
you.